Hello, and welcome to Rank You and Goodnight, the podcast that ranks your favorite band's albums. I'm Zach with my co host, Nick.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back again with my lovely host, Zach. Uh, this time, instead of doing another uh, soft rock band, we're doing quite the opposite with Rage Against the Machine. Uh, Formed in 1991, Zach De La Roca, Tom Morello, Brad Wilk, and Tim Comerford. They're I wouldn't call them metal exactly. It's more of like an alternative or kind of a mix between rap and metal because Zach De La Roca doesn't really sing. He more just kind of like raps on all the songs. But anyway, great band. And tonight we're going to be ranking them. They only have 4 albums, which is not a lot. So this episode will be a little bit on the shorter side than last time with the Eagles. Yeah. Anything you
Yeah.
want to say there?
I'd just like to give a shout out to a few of our friends. Our friend Evan shared us on Facebook to help us get the word out a little bit, and he also put us on his Instagram story. So I'd like to thank Evan for
Yes.
that.
Thank you, Evan.
And also, our friend Ayla also shared us on Facebook, so that's pretty lit of her. So we'd like to give a shout out to
Yes.
Ayla too for being a good
Thank
friend
you.
and a
Thank you.
supporter. Nick and I appreciate it
We do.
very much. So, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not a ton going on in my life other than this,
Oh.
unless you.
Wait, sorry, I just remembered this, and I feel like we're gonna forget if I don't bring it up now.
Okay.
But Nick and I were both recently interviewed on Alfred State Radio.
That's a fact. How could I forget? How can I say that there's nothing going on in my life when something as momentous as that happens? Continue. Sorry.
It was great. I don't know if any of you Alfred State people are going to be listening to us, but if you are,
You might be though, because
Thank
certain
you.
someone who shouted us out. Yes. Lauren and Kyle on their Alfred State. Or it's not Alfred State. It's just Alfred University.
is it?
I think so. Anyway,
It's one of those.
either way they called.
They're
us,
close
though.
to each other, so I'm sure you're listening to whatever at
Yeah.
that point.
And they let us talk about our podcast, which is really cool. They called each one of us separately. I heard like the last minute of you talking, which is kind of cool. Because I just kind of randomly tuned into it later on that night. I was like, oh, hey, this guy sounds familiar.
'Cause
And it was Zach.
me.
Wild.
Well,
But, yeah.
all right. You can continue on whatever your original thought was if you still have it.
Oh, no, that was just shout out to Lauren and Kyle. Thank you for having us on. That was very nice of you. Yeah. And if there's any Alfred University people listening, thanks for checking us out.
So we're gonna get onto our show. Like we said, it's probably gonna be a little bit shorter. I know this intro's probably already longer
This is the
than
longest
the first
part.
one, but we got to make up some time because I mean, there's only 4 albums. A few of ours match up. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, it's gonna be something. We're gonna see
Yeah.
how this goes. So
We'll see. We'll see.
let's get started.
Okay, so to start this off, my number 4 pick was Renegades from the year 2000. Even though I'm putting this album last, I do still really like this album. Some of my favorite songs from this album are Pistol Grip Pump, Microphone Fiend, Renegades of Funk, and How I Could Just Kill a Man. The Ghost of Tom Joad is also really good. This album, I found out, is all covers. None of these are original songs, which doesn't really hurt it per se, but I just feel like it doesn't have the same, it's not anything original by them. So I feel like this is more of a compilation of just other really good songs by other artists, but they're just doing a really good spin on it. Yeah, but still very good. Although not one of my favorite songs on the album, Beautiful World is by a band that I really like, Devo. Hopefully we can do them sometime in the future. Although they have a ton of albums, so maybe not. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about Renegades.
It's kind of wild because I didn't know that they were all covers until like literally I think it was yesterday you told me, and it blew my mind because all I knew was Ghost of Tom Joad was originally a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah.
So
I always
I had
knew
no idea.
because I had heard the song, "How I Could Just Kill a Man." I had heard the Cypress Hill version of it, and I had always wondered whether or not Rage Against the Machine was doing a cover of Cypress Hill, or if Cypress Hill was doing a cover of Rage Against the Machine. Apparently, I found that out today that Rage Against the Machine was doing a cover of Cypress Hill.
Oh.
So
Well,
there we go.
that's interesting. That was actually funny because I was trying to show one of our friends the other day the Ghost of Tom Joad, and I pulled up the Bruce Springsteen version, but there was actually a live version where he had Tom Morello perform it with him.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's pretty cool. But then also today when I hopped on YouTube, I actually saw that there was one where it was Tom Morello, Bruce Springsteen, I believe, was there, but Roger Waters was also there, which is
Wow.
kind of weird because I don't know what he'd be doing there, but I am a personal fan of him, so I'm all for it. But yeah, that's just crazy. I never
That's
realized
wild.
it was all covers, but
I think originally I knew that some of the songs were covers. I just didn't know until like today that like every single one of them was a cover. So thank you, Wikipedia, for letting me know that.
yes, thank you.
Very
Uh,
cool.
So, my number 4 pick, I did Evil Empire, and I mean, a lot of the songs on here, I don't know, I don't really care for, I guess. They just don't really stand out to me.
Hmm.
But there are 2 that stand out to me, and one is Down Rodeo. I remember my swim coach used to play that song a lot,
Oh, nice.
which was lit because I love that song. But then the other one that stands out to me is Bulls on Parade.
Classic.
I'd like to give a little throwback to Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock, because that song was on there, and it was lit every time, especially because in that game you actually get to guitar battle Tom Morello. It's
Oh,
actually kind of
nah.
wild. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this album because I really only have those 2 songs that I really like. So I like the cover. I mean,
Yeah, that cover's really cool.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just like how it looks.
That kid wearing the cape.
Yeah, wearing the cape as the huge E on his chest.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite like cover of Rage Against the Machine albums. I actually really like the Renegades ones too, because it's like Rage, like all the letters, but it's also. Have you ever seen in like New York City? There's like a giant like sculpture of like it's love. It's like done in like the exact same. It's kind of like a parody of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that, yeah.
So that one's cool too.
Yeah, so I think that's all we got really for our number 4
Number
picks.
4s, yeah.
So I think we should move on to number 3.
Sounds good. Okay, and moving on to our number 3 spot. For mine, I have Evil Empire, which Zach just talked about is his number 4th place. So, I think he covered most bases. But my favorite songs were People of the Sun, Bulls on Parade, and I also really like Down Rodeo. That's a good one. This originally was my last pick. I remember when we first listened to all their albums, but when I was re-listening to it again the other day, I enjoyed it a lot more than I remember liking it the first time. But yeah, just overall solid album. Great cover. Yeah.
All right. Well, for my number 3 pick, I put Rage Against the Machine, which actually starting today was my number 1, but I don't know. Things change. Things just happen. I had to switch it around. So, songs I really liked from this were Bomb Track, Killing in the Name, which is an obvious pick, even though I still really can't listen to that song. At one point, I had it set as my alarm, thinking that, it'd get me pumped up and ready to go in the morning. Instead, it just kind of
Yeah.
annoyed
that ruins
me.
anything.
It made me
You know what I hear
not
is
like it too much.
I hear that the that opening song from The Lion King is a really good alarm song. That like
The-
ha Nehemia
Yeah.
Hababichi.
I'll have to give that one
Yeah.
a try, I guess, then.
Supposedly it's really good.
All right, and then so I also like Take the Power Back, Bullet in the Head, and A Fistful of Steel, and Township Rebellion were all songs that stood out to me. And I don't know. I mean, to be honest, a lot of these songs really remind me of our friend Evan, the one that shared us on Facebook and Instagram, just because in high school he used to listen to Radom a lot, I feel like.
Radom.
Or I don't know. I just tie them to Evan, and I don't know why, but it's just
I kind of do too. Something.
Evan, if you're listening to this, when we hear Radom, we think of you.
You're in our hearts.
All right. So that's all I really got for our number 3 pick. If you got anything you want to add.
Nope. I think I'll be silent.
All right, then we'll move on to our number 2 pick.
Okay, moving on to our number 2 picks. For mine, I had their self-titled album Rage Against the Machine from 1992. Some of my favorite songs from this album are Killing in the Name, Bomb Track, and Take the Power Back, or probably, which is the first 3 songs on the album. So starts out strong for me, and then the rest are still good, but like those are the 3 that stand out to me. Yeah, Zach just talked about this one too, so I think it's been mostly covered once again.
You know what? One thing I forgot to mention with that was Killing in the Name of our swim coach. As you guys
So
already
now
know,
you do what they told you.
he liked Rage Against the Machine. He likes a lot of the same bands that I like, but I just remember one time he actually let that song play during practice.
Did it
And
get
it was
to
playing through the sound speakers in the pool room, and then you could hear it building up to the part where it just starts screaming, like, you know, swear words, trying to keep it family friendly here. And I've never seen that man speed walk so fast in his life.
Oh,
he was
like turn down the
he was
volume.
running for his
Yeah.
phone to switch to the next song because he did not need that blaring.
I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. So, is that all you got to say about
Yeah,
that? All right.
that song is amazing though.
It is a good song.
That's a
Maybe
really good
someday I
song.
can finally work up the strength to listen to it again.
Just never again as an alarm clock.
That's a fact. It was lit for like the first week.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it's just kind of like, come on, man. But what are we on, number 2? So for my number 2 pick, I have Renegades, which, as we all know, is a bunch of covers.
Yep.
Which I didn't know previously. But songs I like from this were Pistol Grip Pump, Renegades of Funk, How I Could Just Kill a Man, The Ghost of Tom Joad, and I think that's it. Fun fact about the Ghost of Tom Joad, I forgot to mention earlier, but our friend Evan, who seems to be a recurring topic of this podcast,
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be ecstatic about that. But he actually, him and Ayla, and I think it was Seth too, and Sophie, they played it at, like, I don't know if it was the senior show or the it was the senior show. Yeah, they played the Ghost of Tom Joad.
Oh.
Our man Evan was out there belting those lyrics. He was out
Nice.
here screaming and singing. We had Seth on the bass and Ayla on the drums. Good times. I forgot about that until like just right now. So shout out to all those homies too, because when I hear that song, it makes me think of all y'all. And that's all I really have to say for that album, because I mean Nick already talked about it, but I don't know. I think it's a great album.
Yeah.
Can't believe you ranked it so low.
I mean, there's only 4 places. 4th place is still good.
Yeah, there's only 4 places that we could go, so I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be too much. So, I mean, that's all I got. So I guess we're gonna have to move on to the big old number 1.
Number 1.
Which you guys can probably already figure out what it is, because there's only 4 albums. But let's get to it.
All right. On to our number 1 spot. Sorry, I don't know why I yelled. Anyways, number 1 spot. is, as you probably have guessed, The Battle of Los Angeles. Classic album. Some of my favorite songs on that are Testify and thank you, Guerrilla Radio, Calm Like a Bomb, and probably Mic Check. Sleep Now in the Fire. Forget Mic Check. Sleep Now in the Fire is really good. Yeah.
Wow.
Those are
Just mic check like that. Well,
what do you have to say about
what do I have to say about it?
Battle of Los Angeles? Not Battle for Los Angeles. Battle.
Yeah, I always want to think it's Battle for Los Angeles, but it's of Los Angeles. But I definitely have to say my favorite songs are Testify, Guerrilla Radio, Calm Like a Bomb, Mic Check, Sleep Now in a Fire.
Guerrilla Radio is so good.
Guerrilla Radio
Lights
is so good.
Do 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 do.
Oh my god. One thing that reminds me of Guerrilla Radio is one time at our friend Molly's house. Shout out to Molly if you're listening. You know who you are. And I think her sister got a karaoke machine. And so we were just doing all these different songs. And Nick decided to do Guerrilla Radio, which entails swearing. And
her dad was not about that.
No, he wasn't.
I think was that the same night that I did that one song, It's 2 a.m. or whatever by
I don't know if that song's
2 a.m. and I call her. That song. I really like that song.
I was hoping
too.
You'd sing more because that's
And
like
I'm
your
still
song.
awake. That is my song. If that was a great night by Anna Nalick. I think I also did the Beastie Boys song. What Beastie Boys? Root Down.
Root down. I put my foot
Yeah,
down.
and also I started to do Burn the Witch by Radiohead, but then Eric said that he didn't like that. Or no, he didn't say that he didn't like that song, but he thought that Tom York's voice was whiny. So then I was like, okay, I'll do something more fun. I still love Tom York though. Nothing can change that.
All right. That was off topic.
That was very off
That got
tangent.
very off
Sorry,
topic,
continue.
but- All right. I don't even know what to say about this song now. I don't know. Sleep Now in the Fire makes me think about Evan a lot too, and I really don't know why. Like I said earlier, it's just Rage Against the Machine.
I think
it was like junior year of high school. We had health class together, and
I was in that class.
you were in that class.
A lot of people.
A lot of people were in that class.
Darian
now that
was
I
in
think
there.
about it, and then Christian and
Christian,
Sam.
yeah.
Good times.
Evan,
Good times.
you.
And Evan, me. Huh.
Me.
Wild. You. I don't know. For
Mr.
some
Beard.
reason, I just remember the weirdest things, and I just remember Evan singing Sleep Now in the Fire a lot. And then I'm pretty sure it was also that one Donkey video where Donkey calls him Radum or something. And then so Evan would call him Radum, and every time he'd say Radum, he'd be like, Radum is how he'd say it. And then he'd be like, Sleep Now in the Fire. And that song just always makes me think of him. So I hope he hears
A lot of
this.
memories tied to
You know what?
this.
He's gonna hear this because he's a good friend. He'll listen. I know he will.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. But I don't know. That's all we really
Yeah,
got for this show.
I just really like that album a lot. Like when I think of Rage Against the Machine, I think of Battle of Los Angeles. Excuse me, I can't talk.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact. I definitely feel like this might be the album I think of the most. I know in my room somewhere. I can't see it right now, but it's over in the corner there. But in woodshop, I did wood burn that album cover into a piece of wood.
Yeah, the graffiti
Very
looks like
artistically. Everyone told
either
me.
Freddie Mercury.
Everyone told me it was the Breakfast Club.
Or the
and I was like,
Breakfast Club.
no, it's not. It's Radum.
Bender from the Breakfast Club, which is a good movie.
No, it's not.
You can't say that because you haven't even seen it.
Never gonna.
Nor Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, I'll
Can you
watch
imagine
that.
Get this, people. Imagine a world where there's people out there who haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's like the most iconic movie of all time. It's not my favorite movie, but it's a good movie. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Oh, something.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus. there.
Wow. He really just went for my throat right on the show.
Sorry. No, you know what? I'm not sorry. How dare you?
Okay, you know what, Nick?
I'm getting a new host. It's gonna be. Nah, I can't. You're irreplaceable.
Oh, thank you. What a nice way to
I would never joke about that.
finish off.
And on that,
Goes
wholesome
straight for
note.
my throat and then decides he can't do that.
He's so manipulative.
But I think that's all we really got for today, to be honest.
I think that this went well. I think we covered all the albums well.
Oh, yeah. We got off topic a lot more
We
than
did.
last one, but
There's just way less to talk about with Rage Against the Machine when
that's a fact.
their discography is so small.
One thing, though, is that I don't know if we mentioned this, but a lot of their songs do sound like exactly the same,
They do.
which is rough because, I mean, I like them. It's just
Listening to all of them like one after the other, though, is kind of like
you don't.
you kind of
If you don't pay attention, you won't know the albums have changed. To be
Yeah.
honest,
yeah. There's a lot of times where like I'll listen to one song and I think like, oh, this is the beginning of like Guerrilla Radio or something, and then like the lyrics are like completely different. I was like, oh, okay, I guess never mind.
there's just a lot of loud music and a lot of shouting and a lot of anger,
Yeah.
and it's just what they are.
I still really like Rage Against the Machine though.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of bands.
I still
that
like
feel-
them a lot too, but
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of
kind
bands
of
that
same.
all their songs kind of sound similar, but
At
still
least
good.
they're good.
Yeah.
At least it's not some like Nickelback where every song sounds exactly the same and it's not good.
Yeah.
At least they're good. And I don't know about the rest of them, but I know Tom Morello recently came out with a solo album
Oh, that's cool.
with like
Oh.
featuring a bunch of different artists. It's kind of like I don't know, the whole album has like sounds completely different throughout. It's kind of cool.
Huh.
You'll have to check it out. All of you will have to check it out. It's very politically charged,
Much like Rage Against the Machine.
much like all
Forgot
of
to
Rage
bring that
Against the Machine.
Very strong left politics in all their songs.
Oh yeah. So I mean, if that's something you really care about, then I mean, don't listen to them because I don't know if you'll agree with what they have to say, and it might make you mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all we got for
Yeah.
today.
Thank you for listening to our second episode. Hopefully there'll be more in the future, soon in the future. We will not go on hiatus. Oh, and how could I forget? Thank you, Zach, for reminding me. We'd like to rank you and we'd like to, excuse me. We'd like to rank you and good night.